Booby traps, often considered the stuff of fiction, have a long and intriguing history that stretches back thousands of years. These historical booby traps were not mere movie tropes, but real-life mechanisms employed to safeguard tombs, treasures, and even battlefields. One of the earliest recorded instances dates back approximately 4,500 years when an Egyptian pharaoh protected his final resting place within the Great Pyramid of Giza with collapsing stones. In China, over 2,000 years ago, an emperor had his tomb secured with automatically firing crossbows. Even more recently, during World War II, the Germans plotted to assassinate Winston Churchill with an explosive chocolate bar, though fortunately, this scheme was thwarted. In 1994, Mexican archaeologist Fanny Lopez Jimenez made a remarkable discovery in Palenque, Mexico. She uncovered the tomb of the Red Queen, a long-deceased Maya noblewoman. The tomb was a treasure trove, filled with wealth and riches fit for a female Maya ruler. However, it also held a dangerous secret, a booby trap meant to protect the tomb's contents. Similarly, the tomb of Pharaoh Amenhotep II, located in Egypt's Valley of the Kings, revealed intricate booby traps. These traps were designed to deter would-be grave robbers drawn by the pharaoh's treasures. With mechanisms aimed at thwarting intruders, these tombs showcase the pharaoh's foresight in securing their burial chambers. Booby traps weren't confined to tombs. They found use in safeguarding graveyards. In the 17th century, cemeteries employed firearms that would automatically discharge, protecting graves from potential looters. The protection was necessary due to the valuables often buried with the deceased, making graves tempting targets. The Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the most iconic ancient monuments, may have employed booby traps to deter grave robbers. While the pyramid has yielded no evidence of traps within, its design and construction were meant to safeguard the burial chamber, though looters eventually accessed it. Oak Island, located off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, is shrouded in mystery due to its strange features. In 1795, a teenager named Daniel McInnes discovered a man-made shaft on the island. It had wooden platforms at intervals and would flood when tampered with, suggesting a deliberate effort to thwart intruders. Booby traps were not confined to ancient history. They featured prominently during the Vietnam War. The Viet Cong employed various traps, including the infamous bamboo whip trap, which used bamboo strips to lash out at unsuspecting soldiers on jungle patrols. Another grim innovation was the use of bamboo pit vipers, highly venomous snakes, in tunnel traps to confront American troops. Booby traps have a rich history dating back millennia, serving as mechanisms to safeguard treasures, tombs, and battlefields. From ancient Egyptian pharaohs to the battlefields of the Vietnam War, these traps have played a role in protecting valuable assets and deterring intruders, leaving behind a legacy of intrigue and danger. Another item in the Viet Cong's arsenal of booby traps employed against American and South Vietnamese troops during the Vietnam War was the punji stick. These were sharp bamboo stakes used in various types of traps. The punji sticks were particularly well suited for guerrilla warfare due to the abundance of bamboo in Vietnam and the ease with which these stakes could be crafted and concealed by women or children. The most effective countermeasure against punji sticks was to wear boots with steel plates inserted in the soles. The Baphuon Temple is part of the expansive Angkor Thom complex in Cambodia. Constructed in the mid-11th century by a ruler named Udayaditya Varman-Aya, this temple boasts layered architectural style and grand staircases. However, the entire structure was unstable as it had been built on sandy soil. After a meticulous and lengthy restoration process that involved dismantling and rebuilding the temple on stronger foundations, it was finally opened to the public in 2011. Legends abound regarding secret tunnels in America's Northwest, spanning regions such as New Mexico and Arizona. These legends are partly rooted in stories from the time when the U.S. Army pursued the Native American leader Geronimo and his warriors across challenging terrain. Geronimo and his men were said to mysteriously vanish, contributing to the tales of hidden tunnels. Similar legends exist in Puerto Rico and Mexico, suggesting that the Spanish may have hidden precious metals in these passages and protected their loot with booby traps. Much of World War I's Western Front in Europe was characterized by a protracted stalemate, where both sides would gain and lose small patches of land in a series of assaults and counterattacks. Trench warfare was a common feature. Training Circular 21, titled Ruses and Snares of the Enemy When Retreating, provides examples of booby traps that German soldiers might have left as they retreated. One deadly trap involved a staircase step coming into contact with a nail, which triggered a mine. Emperor Qin Shi Huang, the first ruler of a unified China, passed away in 210 BC, but had made elaborate preparations for his tomb before his death. When discovered in the 1970s, his tomb was a remarkable find from the ancient world. It was uncovered by farmers as they were digging a well, revealing an extraordinary cemetery for a single individual. In 1974, excavation efforts led to the discovery of a remarkable army of terracotta warriors, eventually totaling 7,000 in number. These life-sized soldiers were accompanied by a range of military equipment, including spears, bows, arrows, and remarkably well-preserved swords that remain shiny and sharp to this day. Emperor Qin Shi Huang's tomb was famously guarded by this imposing army of terracotta warriors, all facing east, the direction from which potential threats were expected. These warriors were complemented by a stable of horses, the skeletons of which were also unearthed, as well as bronze chariots. To safeguard his tomb from potential looters, the emperor implemented various protective measures, including a moat filled with deadly mercury. Chinese chronicler San, in his work from 94 BC titled To the Shai, described a second method employed to deter intruders from entering the emperor's tomb complex. During World War II, the Germans devised cunning booby traps that disguised deadly devices as ordinary objects. One such plot involved an attempt to assassinate Britain's wartime leader, Winston Churchill, using a deadly candy bar. Fortunately, this scheme was never successful. Additionally, the Germans designed explosive devices camouflaged as everyday items like motor oil cans, vacuum flasks, and lumps of coal. As the German forces retreated in the later years of World War II, they left behind lethal surprises to impede the advancing Allies. Ordinary farmhouses and apartments were rigged with hidden explosives, often concealed within seemingly harmless objects like crooked picture frames. Unsuspecting servicemen, upon straightening these frames even slightly, inadvertently triggered the hidden explosives by pulling out the safety pin. These concealed traps posed a significant danger to the advancing Allied forces. Subscribe and press the bell icon for regular updates.